if your desire is to be in the industry, then like, man, you got to check your motives. You have to check your motives all the time. Do what you do. Like as a creative, get really good at what you do. Hone your craft. Honor God with your gift. Be connected to your local church. Serve where you're at. I got to preach at a camp, and the last night we did music, and it's like amazing sound system, like rattling your chest. It's like 1,200 kids, and the whole 30-minute concert, I was being pelted with glow sticks by middle schoolers. Like, as you try to make it in the industry, are you still like obeying? This goes for men in particular. Like, are you still providing? Are you still caring for your family? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm getting at? Like, my career, if you want to, I still put my career in air quotes, but my career was such a slow build, partially because I had a family to take care of. So my big goal was Lecrae's record label. He was co-owner. It was called Reach Records. I'm like, they're going to sign me. They don't sign me in 2007. I'm like, they're going to sign me in 2008. They brought me on one of their big tour stops in Seattle, Washington in 2008. I'm 22 years old, having this amazing opportunity. But I so bad just wanted their validation, and I wasn't secure in Christ, that I just wanted to impress them. I wanted to be them, and I wasn't really content. I was just chasing what they had, always just chasing what they had, and just not content in my job. I was like, I struggled in the workplace at times because I didn't really give my all to my job, because I'm like, just any moment, you know, I'm going to get to like really do it big, and it's going to be so fun. And when that didn't happen by like 2011, 2012, I was just like, I don't think it's happening, you know. And they had started to sign other artists like KB and Andy, and I'm like, yeah, I think.
Were they in the same area?
No, they weren't, you know. So we were all in North Texas together, and then Lecrae went to work with a ministry in Memphis and started a ministry there, and then went down to Atlanta at this point, and then these other people were from Florida and New York, and then here I am in Oklahoma, not exactly like the center of, you know, Christian rap music. And so then I was like, oh man, I felt like I failed. I was like really kind of bitter and jealous. Like I was jealous. Like, and then I was just mad at their success, you know. I thought they must be doing something wrong, you know, like, but my plan before I was saved, I never really thought I'm going to get a big record deal. I was like, I'm just going to do it on my own. Like this is before I was a Christian. I'm like, I'm going to just print CDs and just go to every place I can go outside of malls, schools, and just sell CDs. And I can just live in an apartment with my brother and I'll do music. And that's kind of what I was doing as a Christian artist, but I just didn't recognizing that while I was waiting for them to give me like a big look and give me an opportunity, I was laying the groundwork. I was working on music. I was honing my craft. I was learning how to mix. I was learning how to engineer music, make it sound good. I was learning how to package an album. I was learning how to build a fan base. I just didn't know how to categorize that. Yeah. So really all those years of like failing to make it into the industry was actually building the groundwork for me to just be fully independent, which is what I've done, you know, ever since then. Yeah.
Did you have an opportunity for a label deal?
So I did so I was on a professional basketball player who played overseas, started a Christian record label. It just crashed and burned. Just no one knew what they were doing. They had money to throw into it, but it just left a really bad taste in my mouth. So like, yeah, that's a great thing I skipped over. My second album was called The Pursuit, and it was actually distributed into like Mardell's Christian bookstores nationwide, but I didn't have like a nationwide following. So it just kind of sat there on the shelf like that. And that was through that record label. So, but the music industry was changing, man. It was evolving, and it was really like the record label model was fading out. And even now, like record labels want artists to think they need them more than they really do. So that record label situation, after I was on the song Symphony, which like blew up super big, that record label did like a deal with me for 2 songs. But by that point, I'm like, I don't really need a record label. So I'm not going to like overcommit to something contractually. I'll do 2 songs, more of a partnership, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, really what's kept me afloat has really just been the independent grind, you know?
Yeah. So have you ever got to the point where you contacted 116 or this label or this label where you were like, oh, I need a label? Or was it always like, you know what, I'm going to stay independent. I'm going to keep going.
No, like early on, you know, sending in demos to record labels for sure, sending in packages. Like I was doing all that stuff in the like 2006 through maybe 2008, 2009. So I was trying to shop, you know,
you were going
shop myself. Yeah. But you got to know someone who knows someone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's certain people who get just breaks, you know, but other than that, it's like, but then I felt like I knew all the right people though. So that's what was hard, because like at that time, you know, Lecrae was a friend. If he was ever in the area, he would hit me up like, hey, come out to the concert. Let's hang out. So it was hard for me to separate the friendship from the business side of like, dude, why won't you just do right? Why don't you just do all the hard work for me? Just like hand me the world, you know?
Yeah.
And so, but God did so much more in making me be patient and learning to like let go of that selfish dream. And then around the time we met, I started working on this album, Be Different. And I no longer was trying to earn their respect. I no longer was trying to get a record deal. I'm like, I'm 28 years old. I recognize it's not going to happen. Let me just pour my heart into this album. And then God used that to really catapult, you know, me into doing music full time. Like it charted top 10, like on the iTunes hip hop charts, which we'll get into. That sounds like it'd be millions of dollars. It's not, but it still did. It might only been for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
But it was there. We screenshotted it. And, it just opened up opportunities to start traveling. And that's always been my thing with the music industry is, especially now in the streaming world, you have to figure out how to create an audience that supports you and just merchandise, live performances. If you're trying to do it to support your family or support yourself, that's going to probably be the most realistic route. There are certain people who can go viral and get a song that gets millions of streams and millions upon millions, right? 1 million streams. If you own your music 100% from beginning to end, you did everything. 1 million streams on Spotify is going to pay you like $3,600.
Yeah.
1 million streams is so hard to do. That's going to not even maybe cover your bills for 1 month. You know, 36 on Spotify will pay you $3,600, 1 million streams.
Wow.
You know,
that seems like so little.
It is
compared to how much work. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And here's one thing that I just hearing from you, and I kind of faced it in career life, but it sounds like God was shielding you from a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think that stuff might be? Have you ever thought about that? Because like if I was to continue dancing, like I think about that all the time, like exactly what God was shielding me from, like the industry itself.
So if you would have showed me what I do now when I was 20 years old, just showed me like a 10-minute reel, I would be like, that's not it. That's not the dream. For the most part, it's not glamorous. I mean, there are the moments like, whoa, this is cool to have like crazy like sound system and lights. But like even last week, dude, I was at like a outreach called Fifth Quarter. It's after the football game. So here it is, 10:45 p.m. I'm old, dude. I ain't trying to be starting the concert at 10:45. My kid has fallen asleep, so she's sleeping in our car right now, parked on the side of the church. She was supposed to DJ for me, but she fell asleep because it's so late. The sound system, the speakers are as old as I am, no lie. It sounds rough, but I mean, praise God, they did the best they could.
Yeah.
And I'm on a flatbed trailer. There's no lights, and there's like a bunch of kids in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, who probably aren't even rap fans. And I'm trying to connect with them with music just so I could share the gospel.
Yeah.
That's not exactly like as cool as you would think being a rapper is, you know, and there are the moments that are, but then sometimes it's like, even this summer, I got to do like this amazing, I got to preach at a camp, and the last night we did music, and it's like amazing sound system, like rattling your chest. It's like 1,200 kids, and the whole 30-minute concert, I was being pelted with glow sticks by middle schoolers. Like, no matter how many times I told them to stop, no matter how many times I tried to joke about it or
sorry about that, by the way.
Yeah, it was like, I'm like, I would think this isn't this isn't it.
This isn't rapping.
But, so it's not glamorous, but I think about what God shielded me from. And I remember like walking off that stage and like the glow stick thing, bro. I'm talking like 100 glow sticks. I only got hit twice. Praise the Lord.
Oh, dude, you must have been
it was, and like Trump had been like the assassination attempt was the day before. So I was like, dude, it just grazed my ear, man.
Yeah.
Me and my wife were walking back to like the little room that we stayed at on the campgrounds. And we're driving our little golf cart. And I'm just like, those stupid kids, no respect for authority. That's what's wrong with the generation. And I'm kind of like going in, you know, complaining about it. Like, that's so disrespectful. Like trying to get my wife to like hype me up. Yeah, it was. You should do something about it. She's like, why do you expect to be treated better than Jesus? I'm like, yeah, they deserve to be disciplined, but you're kind of right. And it changed my perspective. Like, that's just an example right there, shielding me from pride. Because here I am doing a really exciting event where there's lights and like it could be all attention on me. And God's like, I'm going to let you get pelted with glow sticks just so you know you're not that impressive. Yeah. It'll keep you humble. And
that's the start of your wife's rapping career.
Yes, I think God shielded me from the lure to be unfaithful to my wife that could happen with being gone all the time and on the road. I think in
multiple ways, most likely, digitally and
God shielded me from not having a church to call home, right? Because a lot of times if you're just out there all the time, you don't really have a home church. God shielded me from Christian celebrity status where people won't call you out or you can't even receive being called out because you just think too highly of yourself. Or like, even if you desire real relationships, because I mean, let's face it. And I know we go to like, I don't think anyone's impressed with rappers at our church, which maybe that's for me, you know, but our church is impressed by some like theologians and pastors. And just imagine like if they walked into our church, even if they didn't want to be distracting, let's just say like Johnny Mac or whoever your guy is walks into our church, they would be distracting. Yeah. Because they're a Christian celebrity. Yep. And I've had friends who are like, I want to be like in the church and involved and in small group, but it's inviting people into my home. And then they're like, they know where I live now and I'm their favorite Christian celebrity. And they're showing up like when they're like, it gets weird. So I had a friend who back in 2019 took a lot of predominant like Christian artists, pretty like big. Yeah. And he took them on this trip through Israel. And he called me afterwards and he's like, bro, Dillon, you know, he says, bro, like every 3 seconds. He's like, bro, God was shielding you, bro. I'm telling you right now. He's like, bro, I know you see them and they have the huge lights and the arenas and you think like, God, why am I not doing that? He's like, but they would give anything to switch places with you. Like you get to travel with your family a lot. Like your kid is your DJ. You have real authentic relationships in your church. They've been so used by the Christian music industry and propped up to like just make money for it. And like, we're going to just, people like you, you're popular. Let's put you out as much as we can so you can make as much money for the industry and the label as possible. And he's like, dude, God was protecting you. And so that like, I realized what God was shielding me from like 2019, 2020. I realized like, like this was a better way. Like, it's not as glamorous. And yeah, like I still do stuff that's like, that's kind of cringe, man. Like there's like, but it's worth it. Yeah. Yeah. It's worth it.
So on that, and we're going to get to the questions I sent you before before we started, but on that, is the rap industry kind of set up to be against Christian artists? And if so, how has that played a role in your
I think the Christian music industry is set up to be against Christians. Because what does the Bible say like Christians are supposed to be about? You know, gathering together, like being part of community, like putting your family first. In any industry that's like willing to let you sacrifice that, they're not for you, you know? And you got to, you know, and like, here's the thing. Okay. you're a good Christian. No, I'm not conflating like serving in our military with being a artist.
No, you heard it here first, people.
Because like one of those is way more sacrificial and like way harder.
Right.
But I would never slam or be like, oh, that dude's not a faithful husband or faithful member of the church because he's been in Iraq for the last year. You know what I mean? That's his job. He had to go and do that.
Right.
But that's not the norm. And so there's certain like Christian artists who I can see balance it. And maybe their labels are helping them balance it. Like, hey, we're going to tour for these 2 months, but then that's it.
Yeah.
After that, you might be gone this weekend, that weekend. But I've never been close enough to that world to know how they handle that. But as a whole, the music industry, they're going to want you to talk about what the world wants to hear, what's popular. People don't want to like think too hard and feel convicted when they listen to music. Like what person who doesn't know Christ like wants to be challenged and made to feel, you know what I mean? Like convicted. So labels aren't going to like that. There's even like a really funny, like it was from like years ago, like it's like a funny spoof on like Christian record label, like having a meeting and they're like, oh yeah, this song, like you talk about like struggling with like porn and drug addiction. Like, oh, that's a little too specific. Like, they're like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, just say stuff like, oh, there's a storm brewing and like just use like water imagery.
Vague.
Yeah, just be vague as possible. And that doesn't always help people to be vague. And my music is like far from vague. So I think that's why my music isn't always palatable for like Christian radio and things like that. Like I even had a situation where I was on a song that went big on the radio, but most radio stations cut my part out, you know, they cut the rap out.
Symphony has a section.
And I always wonder like, why? But maybe it wasn't generic enough. I don't know. Or maybe it was too edgy because it was rap, but I mean, they never.
Me and my daughter were listening to the radio and we heard the song come on. And we're like, yeah, let's go. All right, here we go. And then it just switches to the chorus again. I'm like,
it goes right back to the chorus.
No.
So I think you should, if your desire is to be in the industry, then like, man, you got to check your motives. You have to check your motives all the time. Do what you do, like as a creative, get really good at what you do, hone your craft, honor God with your gift, be connected to your local church, serve where you're at, reach the people where you're at. If God starts opening doors, then like great. But if your desire is like, I got to be in the industry, I would say just check your motives. I'm not saying that it's flat out like sinful because if you're a banker and you want to be in the investment world, I'm not going to immediately accuse you of being sinful. Yeah. So I don't want to immediately like people who are gifted songwriters, make them feel bad about trying to get in the industry, but the industry will like, you know, chew you up and spit you out if you're not careful. So that's why you have to be so on guard because we're talking about entertainment. We're talking about music. And
I think it would be worse if you're actually good.
Yeah.
Like if you actually have like a true talent, you most likely will be even more tempted or I would say the industry would pull you even harder. Like, come on, dude, you're really good. Let's go. Let's get this thing started.
Well, like I think there's a documentary about it too, or maybe a movie that retells a story. And the guy who wrote Our God is an Awesome God,
I forget his name.
He, wait. No. Rich Mullins. Yeah. I don't know where he was at with his theology. Just going to throw that out there. But
you gotta say
he said like, peace out to the Christian music industry.
Wow.
And I think he just went and like would serve people on an Indian reservation and love on them. And I think, and then he died in an accident, unfortunately, but he saw it. And he saw that side of it. And this is in the 90s. And he was like, this is not godly. Like, I'm going to peace out. Well, but maybe I'm just saying that because I never made it. So I'm just bitter. I don't know.
It's true for everything, really. Because if you're a good salesman, there's a pull there, too. It's just in the sales industry.
If you're a good speaker.
Yeah. Good
there's
speaker,
a mega church for you to lead.
Good speaker, good manager. Like, any type of work that you have, if you're good at it, it's going to want to demand more. Yeah. And you're always going to have the temptation to put your family behind that. And when you do, you're going to see success in that career. You're going to see success in that craft. And then it's going to be easier to do it the next time. because you're going to believe what you say to yourself about, oh, I'm helping my family. But actually you're just taking time away from your family, giving them money, which they most likely already have. You've already given them to them by just being at work.
Man, I heard a story of a guy who, you know, would travel and like kind of do itinerant preaching for different people. Mm-hmm. And a Sunday came up and he was home that week in the church, like, hey, like, man, we need someone to preach and pay you $400 if you can come in, and it's the last minute, I know. And he's like, yeah, like for sure. Like, it's a cool opportunity. He hangs up the phone and his wife is like, how much are they paying you? He's like 400. I can't remember how much. She goes, I will pay you that just to stay home and be with me and the kids. Like, if it's worth it, because for the money, I would pay you that just to stay home. We miss you. We want you here. And it's like always trying to keep that in balance. And I've done good at that, and other times I haven't. But there's times I say no to stuff because I look, I'm like, dude, I haven't been at my church. Like, I always try to make it at least once a week on a Wednesday or a Sunday. Mm-hmm. But there's times I'm like, I haven't been at church in a month. Like, I can't do this. Like, I just have to let this one slide.
Like, I heard a sermon, small little clip of a sermon from Paul Washer, and I know easy guys, Paul Washer. I'm talking to you, but he said that the biggest people that give into this lie is people who are in ministry, because though their cause is more glorifying to God per se, if that's the right words, they still put their family behind the church, which should be opposite. Mm-hmm. Families above the church. Christ is above that, obviously, but they put their family on the back row when they're serving the church family, which would be like a disqualifying thing to do, because you know that's your ministry, that's your first ministry, and you're disregarding them to, you know, develop other people's families and not your own. And that's what that whole sermon was about, him digging into pastors and missionaries. And
it really can happen on the mission field, you know, for sure.
Well, even in work, like I know a lot of guys that would most likely spend hours talking theology after church, or, you know, in the work field. Meanwhile, their wife is at home needing them to get home, or maybe they said they would be home at this time, and I
remember one time I apologized to Pastor Randy, like, hey, I'm sorry, I have to, like, Samantha's homesick, I got it. And it was like right after church, and he was like, looking at me like, what are you apologizing for? Like, go home and take care of your wife. And that was so refreshing, because I've been in environments where it was like, oh, you don't think God can take care of your wife? Like, you need to be here. You know what I mean? Like, so it was really refreshing for my pastor to like look at me like, what are you apologizing for? Like, go be home with your wife. So
well, your ministry increases if you focus on the first ministry that God gave us, you know. The conversation I had with my sister today, actually, somebody asked her, you know, if I'm a stay-at-home mom, how am I supposed to share the gospel? I'm at home all the time. Like, how am I supposed to do that? And her response was, well, you have to understand that your first ministry is to your husband and your kids. If you do that, they are going to push the gospel even more than you ever could. And on top of that, right now your kids are lost. Mm-hmm. They're not saved. So why would you go out to preach the gospel when your own kids are lost? Mm-hmm. And then she was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. But she hit the nail right on the head, because it's a temptation for everybody. But let's dig into kind of you hinted to it about, like, a young guy getting into the music industry, or really just entertainment, because I think nowadays both are very similar in a lot of ways. A little bit different if one's in theater, but there's still a lot of temptation there, even in theater compared to music. So how could a person be successful as a Christian? Like, what is success? Like, in this, like, what should be the goalpost?
I always say, redefine success. You cannot use the industry or the world standard of success of this many albums sold and this many sold out tours and arenas and seats filled, because God measures success with like faithfulness and stewarding your gift.
Yeah.
Steward your gift. There's a proverb, and proverbs are principles. They're not always like magic spells, you know what I mean? Like, if I do this, it's going to happen just this way. But there's a proverb that's like, your gift will make room for you.
Yeah.
And I've seen that in my life, stewarding my gift well, and opportunities come and things happen. But to be successful, I think you should take a step back and say, like, how can I be faithful at stewarding my gift? Or like, you think about the parable of the talents. Like, I don't want to bury my gift. I want to use it. I want to multiply it. So I want to make sure that what I'm doing is honoring to God. And so some people make music all about God, like breaking down Christian concepts and principles and like mini sermons and songs. But some people just make music about, raising their kids and loving their wife. And it's
joy.
It's informed from a biblical worldview, but it may not be so explicitly Christian. But whichever way you do it, are you stewarding your gift well? Are you being faithful in that? And then, like, are you, as you try to make it in the industry, are you still like obeying, this goes for men in particular, like, are you still providing? Are you still caring for your family? You know what I'm getting at? Like, my career, if you want to, I still put my career in air quotes, but my career was such a slow build, partially because I had a family to take care of, like, from before I even got married, because we already had a kid. So I knew enough, thanks to like solid discipleship, that I couldn't sacrifice like my family's well-being trying to chase my music dream. So I worked 40 hours a week,
Yeah.
And I would go and try to do stuff on the weekend, or I would use one of my vacation days to go do a youth concert on a Wednesday and drive back the same night. And that meant like I missed some opportunities, and things didn't happen, and things were like, I would only come out with the album like every 2 years because I worked a full-time job. I had a family. I didn't always have time to just sit and make music.
Yeah. And
so I think that was, even though I was kind of failing in the industry, I think I was succeeding in God's eyes because I was providing for my family. I was making sure that what I invested in my music financially wasn't like taking away from what my family needed. So many times, dude, like we would invest our whole, like if we got a tax return check, like that was my album budget to try to like make an album with it. Like balling on a budget, like making an album on $3,000, $4,000 to make an entire album. And so I tell people now, like, hey, like, okay, maybe what you're putting into this, like, doesn't add up with what you're getting out of it from just a financial standpoint. Like, oh, you want to honor God and make music, for sure. Don't spend $1,000 on one song that's going to make $1.23. Like, go into YouTube, type in free beat, you know what I mean? Get your free beat, like get you $100 microphone off Amazon and record on your computer, get your outlet out, honor God, make it sound as best as possible. Yeah. Because you have a family to take care of. It may not make sense for you to put $1,000 into this. Yeah. But so I would say you can be successful, but your real question should be like, how can I be faithful and just stewarding my gift, not compromising my moral values and things like that?
What's success? I think they have to answer that. Yeah. Well, no, you
specifically like in music, I think it would be, okay. I'll answer it.
You answered
Go ahead.
That.
Yeah. What did I say?
Mean? Well, you were saying that to do this industry, you have to make sure that what you're doing is in the right priorities list. Yeah. Because, I mean, obviously success in the industry is most likely, platinum albums, as much as you can.
Because like by that standard, I haven't been successful. Right, but by my standard, I have been successful.
Yeah, yeah. And if anybody is looking to get into the music industry, dancing, theater, acting, stuff like that, there has to be, I would say that if the things that you are a part of, like the roles that you have, if you're not being a good steward of the main ones that you have, your church, Christ, your family, your wife, then something has to change. If you're not being a good steward of those, something has to change. So I would say if you're doing those you're successful, but the music industry is whatever God allows, whatever time allows. And you put as much into that without sacrificing from the stewardship you have to hold in those roles, then that's icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Like practical things I did to, I'll specifically say to be like financially stable in music, which is outside of success, because you could be successful in honoring God with your gifts, but maybe you never ever able to be a full-time musician. One is like, you have to hone your gift to where you are in like the top 5% or something, you know what I mean? And there's going to be some people who are way less talented than you that have way more opportunity. But if you're trying to honor God, work hard.
Is it Future?
Yeah.
Rapper Future?
I don't know now. Even that's like 10 years ago. It's probably more now. But man, work hard at being good at. So I just worked really hard. And like practical things I did was like cutting out costs. So learning how to record my music at home, learning how to produce my music, learning how to print my own merch, with my pastor who prints my t-shirts. Then like there's years that I'm like, I would not make it just off music. I would not make it just off merch. I would not make it just off touring. I would not make it just off like helping people write songs. It takes all these things at the same time. So just diversifying what you do as an artist, investing in our own touring equipment and putting on our own tours. Like, that was something that was such hard
like
work,
a milestone,
and not glamorous. Like, but I've toured from Oklahoma to San Diego and back. And on the way, we slept on couches. On the way, we did free shows for small churches. But at the end of it, it was profitable. Like it paid my mortgage, paid utilities, like put gas in our vehicles. And so like just knowing, okay, in order for me to do that, no one called and said, we want you to tour. We want you to play at, what is it, Chesapeake Arena now? I can't remember. They changed the name.
Something like that. I
think they changed it to an energy company. But anyway, I used to hope for that phone call, like, oh, you're going to be on Winter Jam. That's like a huge Christian thing. But instead I'm like, I'm going to get my own sound system. I'm going to find out how much it is to like rent out Perfect Blend.
Old First Baptist.
Perfect Blend for a night. I'm going to sell tickets on Eventbrite, or we're going to just like take up like we're just going to sell merch or, and like, I just figured out how to do it. And it's not what I dreamed of doing when I was like in my early 20s, but it was so much better because like I built it with, like I built it from the ground up. I was able to do it with my family and other people involved.
Start small and build it. Start small. If you have that foundation, if you like, you probably around Be Different, would you say your rap is pretty solid?
Yeah. When I go back to my music, like when I go back further than Be Different, I'm like, even there's some parts on Be Different I would do different, but I think that's what really came into my, so that's, how many years is that? I mean, from, if you want to just go by albums, I came out with the album like in high school and stuff, like in 2003. So that's, 11 years of just grinding and working on your craft.
And once you had that foundation, you just kept building. You just kept building.
Now I'm on the downward side of it.
My small story of dancing ended when I had the ability to keep building those building blocks. I had a slight foundation of talent, but it hasn't shot yet because I could have gotten to the battle scene in Tulsa and Oklahoma City and got like with started choreographing stuff, but I was mainly freestyle. But I decided to not do that because just some red flags that I had from the industry. There was a battle, acting like I used to do it professionally, but there was a battle where I was battling this guy that was mainly just a tricker and a flipper. And we did it. And then all of a sudden, like this girl jumps out and starts booty dancing there in the middle of the battle.
In the middle of Bricktown.
And right when that happened, I was like, I don't think this is going to work out. I don't think I can do it. I probably could have somehow. But for me, it was like, you know what? I'm just going to call it quits. I'm going to focus on my career and let what ifs be what ifs. So when it comes to the music industry, and this is where we get a little bit more controversial. When it comes to the music industry, for our Christian young men listeners and young women, should they listen to rap? Mainstream rap?
I'm okay. For some of you, definitely not.
No, some of you.
Yeah. It's like for me, when I was newly saved, I couldn't listen to it. I mean, because I really listen to music. I listen to the lyrics. I buy into the story. I have the imagery in my head, you know. My wife, she doesn't listen to music like that. Like, she literally, to this day, some of the songs we listened to in high school, she still doesn't really know what they're about. Like, she really thought they were talking about.
Pops to them.
She just thought they were really talking about chicken and waffles. I'm like, that wasn't really about chicken and waffles. But even her, you know, as a young Christian, she just was so in love with Jesus, and she would just listen to Christian music.
Yeah.
Now, like, I mean, let me just pull up my phone and just see.
Come on.
What I have here. Definitely
These
got
are
some
endorsements
Japanese
for
music.
theology as well, by the way.
Okay, I have some songs from Japanese artists who are not Christian, you know.
Okay.
I have a Marvin Gaye song. I have some Neil Diamond. Have some Coldplay. I have non-Christian music on my phone right now, but my standard is it has to be true. Goodness has to be good. Beauty has to be beauty according to God's standards. So kindness is good. Love is beautiful. If they're glorifying adultery, if they're glorifying like using drugs, I can't listen to that. Like that, God hates that. And I should hate it too. I should not. If they're normalizing like death and like murdering people, like this is real stuff that happens in rap music. I cannot work out to it. I don't care how much it pumps me up to like get the reps in. Yeah. I'd rather listen to like How Great Is Our God or something, you know, like you can't do that because you think like your flesh is just dormant, you know, but your flesh will feed off of that stuff. And it may be very like, it may just creep in subtly, maybe over time. And also like, if you're really in your word and you're growing in Christ and you're like, God, break my heart for whatever breaks yours, then you're going to find that's the question to me is like, if you love Jesus, how could you enjoy like listening to that? Yeah. No, I get it. Like me and my wife, if we're on like a long road trip, we might throw up like a 2000s, you know, throwback playlist. And there is some nostalgia, but even then we're like, okay, we got to skip. Like that is like, wow, we listened to that, you know? Yeah. But if it's just for like, for your enjoyment, you want to listen to this stuff, and I have like the same standard for movies too. I try to like, I don't just watch Kirk Cameron movies. You know what I mean? Like, gosh, what a miserable life. No. Yeah. But the movies, I'm like, okay, one, like nudity is a no-go because that person's really naked. That person didn't really get shot. That person didn't really die. But that person's really naked. And like her dad probably feels some type of way about it or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's like a hard line I don't cross. And then I'm like, is good in the movie? Like, is good what you're going for? Or are you going for evil? You know what I mean? How is it framing good and evil? And even that is starting to get like blurred. You know what I mean?
And I agree with pretty much all of that. Because I would say that I'm right there with you because all the music that I used to listen to that had all the good beats.
Great beats.
Amazing beats. Like, you can't, like Panda. I mean, come on. Yeah. That's just a really good beat.
Yes.
But
Kids Bop version.
I think that if you're listening to that music and you're one of the elect, one of the called, and you're saved, you're eventually not going to.
Yeah.
I don't
like it's garbage.
Yeah. I think that God's going to convict your heart somehow. Because 10 years ago, I would probably disagree with some of the things that you're saying. But over time, like it just
sanctification. Maturity.
And the things that I like, my ears just hear beats. Like I had to train myself to listen to your music because
you hear the beat. You're thinking, okay,
I'm thinking
I
the beat.
That.
Like
I can move this.
I'm a freestyler, so my body kind of moved independently from my mind. And when your music came on, there's actually theology and deep meaning there. So I actually like 8 years ago, had to train my brain to listen to words. So now listening to all the music that I did
You just heard do it anyway.
Yeah.
You heard,
really?
and then you hear, and all of a sudden it's like, wait, he just said, I know they're supposed to oppose this, people exposing all their evil indulgence, leaving them open just to see that they're broken, kingdom provoking with that legal promotion. They say when it comes to trouble, man, I stir it up.
Yes.
I'm not stopping till the whole world heard his love, and Christ died 30 plus for my dirty lust. It's like, why was I dancing to this? I should be like breaking in repentance.
Yes.
That's the problem sometimes with Christian rap music, is like the message is so deep, but the music is so like playful.
Yeah,
it's hard to find that balance.
Like and when I actually did, because like listening to even Symphony, I re-listened to it nowadays, and I'm like, man, that's really good lyrics. What he was talking about. But that also is true with the stuff I used to listen to, like Panda, like Kanye West.
Then you listen to the lyrics and it's like, oh, that's really bad.
Yeah, I can't listen to it. Like now I can't help but hear the words. And my excuse was, oh, I just listen to music. You know, I can't really hear the words anyway. And now I can't even use that excuse.
Words matter, man, and music matters to God. Like singing in music is something that will be in heaven. Like I don't think people are gonna lift weights in heaven. I don't know. Just kind of throwing that out there. Maybe they will, but I don't think people are going to do a lot of things in heaven. They're not going to, I don't know. They
are going to sing.
They are going to sing though. So like music is very important.
But the issue that I found is that I was more lenient with stuff if I listened to that music and kept listening to that music. My brother used to listen to Matt Chandler all the time. And his mannerisms changed. Like he started acting like Matt Chandler. He argued brother? Like Matt Chandler. Matt.
Gosh. So Ray Romano and Matt Chandler just combined.
Yes, dude.
In the multiverse.
Oh my gosh. It was like I could tell.
Dude, Randy Tyler used to have my first sermon I preached in like 2007, like on some cruddy recorder. I hope it's been burned.
Yeah.
Because I was a 21-year-old who was into urban music, who just the hip hop culture is what raised me. And I preached like John Piper at 21 years old.
Amen.
I was pulling up Taco Bell like, I want the burrito for the glory and the majesty of the 7 layers, the layers for the Lord. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? I'm becoming John Piper because I listened to him so much.
Dude, that was a perfect impression of John Piper.
It came and just hit me. It was really how
I was. Spirit.
How I would preach was like John Piper. It was sickening. Like,
well,
and it happens in the negative way. Like if you listen to that music, eventually it's going to start changing you.
It does, because you're more sensitive to those words. You're more likely to just say that stuff.
I think country music is really bad too.
It took a turn.
I think country music
is going down the drain.
Country music can just present a life of that Hollywood love. It's like, this is the thing about love songs. I talked about this with my wife, is you have a bunch of people who have failed at marriage and true love and like loving. Like there's times me and my wife been so mad at each other with like the stupidest fight, and just out of habit we still serve each other or do something, you know, like whether it's like taking the trash or making a meal. That's love. But it's like country music and other music, that like one phase of love where it's really just selfishness and it's so intoxicating because it's new. That's all they know how to write about. And like you look at the people who are writing these songs, know really nothing about love.
They're all hypocrites, because as soon as something gets tough in their career or their sport or their game in the video game, they fail and do it and get better at it and learn the problems that they had and what the game had and whatever else. And when it comes to their marriage, they don't. They check out. As soon as they get the first L, they are like, okay, I'm done. It's over. I need to find somebody else that makes me happy. But we never do that with basketball. We never do that.
Wow, that's like, wait, have y'all talked about that as an episode?
We kind of did. We kind of did.
Good right there. That's a good analogy.
Yeah, well, we kind of did, because people treat relationships. There was one episode I said that I was at a youth conference and this guy said, you know, people say that in order to be good at relationships, you need to like, how many relationships have you had? Oh, you don't know anything about it then. But he says, all that tells me is that you have 100% losing streak.
Yeah.
And I that have found my wife, dated my wife, courted my wife, and slept with no other woman, I have 100% win ratio.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like he says, you're really good at losing.
Basically,
and the way I'm operating is how God designed it, and I'm 100% winning.
Mic drop.
Yeah, but anyway, okay, so I think that's all the time we have. Yeah. But there's one more thing. So I got this beat.
Okay.
These are not studio quality microphones, but I want to give the people a taste.
Okay.
Of the chase.
Taste of the chase.
Thought about that before. Yeah. So I got this beat. I'll let you listen to it beforehand.
How do we hear it? Do I need to take a headphone off, or it's going to be in?
It's going to be in the headphones.
Oh, this is professional. Wow.
I mean, come on.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, kill steps here. But I'll give you words.
Okay.
I think I actually did this a few times at some
different shows. Yeah. The one at Stonewall.
Yeah.
That was epic one.
Shout out UV.
Yeah. Still on Facebook.
Yep.
Union Valley Baptist Church.
So I'll give you words. I didn't really think of any. I was just gonna, I'll freestyle that part.
Wow, impressive.
I'll give you like 5 words.
All right, we can't edit this. Just play the beat and let's go. Then how are you gonna give them all to me up front, or as I'm rapping, you're gonna give them?
I was going to let you choose which ones. You probably heard this on one of the
episodes. Patreon exclusive.
How long is your freestyles?
Man,
2 minutes, a minute and a half.
They can go on and on, brother. Die daily.
But me, this is like a bounce beat. Yeah, that's what I like.
I mean, I could do that one. Let me hear the next one, though.
Okay. Hold on. I can't guarantee you too much difference.
Okay, because you like the bounce.
I like the bounce. When you did a cover to Panda, I love that one.
Yeah, check. All right, we can do this one.
Okay, this one. Let me skip ahead because there's some build. It stops and it kind of repeats, loops.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, cool.
I just need to know these words.
Might like this one better.
I need to know these words so I don't forget them. I might type them down, or you can just say them as I'm going, and I could do my best.
Do you know? Have you watched Harry Mack at all?
The funny story, I refuse to watch him because I've been asked to so many times, but I'm afraid I'm just gonna do what he does because everyone tells me because we do the same thing, but I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid if I watch it, I'll be too influenced by it. It'll be like the whole Matt Chandler thing again, and I'll just start doing it his way. So that's like I try to just not watch it. So it's been hard. Like I've seen like 5 seconds of his video start, but then I just swipe.
Same thing with NF.
Yes, I don't.
You get compared to NF so much, don't you?
But then now it's getting back compared to Eminem, so I don't know what's going on with
that. Well. We'll see. Both are white, so that's the first thing.
And both use their initials, just throwing that out there.
All right, let's see. Words. The first one, exit.
Okay.
Because as soon as this beat drops, you got to go.
Okay.
Let's see. Coffee.
All right. Wait. I need to know, like, specifically, how do you like your coffee? Are we talking just black coffee?
Creamer.
Okay.
No creamer,
black coffee
no sugar.
Matters. And you drink it hot. You don't wait for it to cool off.
Yes. If you that's Noodle Boy drink. Okay. The more sugar you have and creamer, the smaller your arms are.
Okay. I think there's some people who might disprove that. I don't know them personally, but they got to be out there.
No, it's everybody.
Pull up in the comments.
It's universal. Everybody knows. Let's do blinds.
Blinds. What? Wait, we got to. You're definitely going with what's around the room.
Don't look around the room.
Wait, blinds is just. We need more syllables than that. That one's too easy. How about a deer blind? Isn't that a thing? Or a duck? Yeah, deer blind. Yeah, we'll do that. Because that's like a hunting thing, right?
Yeah.
Never hunted before. I have fish, though. I've hunted fish.
Okay, how about this? Hold on. Blind spot.
Okay, exit.
Blind spot.
Black coffee, blind spot.
And one more that is a little bit more hard. Transistor.
Wait, what is that? Wait.
Maybe we should use transistor. There's too many
there's too many
good
parts of that word.
Okay. Hold on. let's do centripetal.
Centripetal. Can you tell me in context what that is?
Centripetal force.
Oh,
like when you're spinning somebody.
Oh, centripetal.
Okay, I said it wrong.
No, I'm trying to just. How do you say it? I don't know how to say it. I've never heard.
I think centripetal.
Centripetal. Google it. It's definitely centripetal.
Okay,
let's just go with it.
I don't think.
Just forgive us if it's wrong. Here we go. Do I have options like turn
Dillon
the beat
Chase
up, turn the beat down?
The beat.
It just is what it is.
I can turn the beat up or
turn
down.
the beat up a little bit. Here we go. Yeah. Would have been a gardener if God had not found me. I'm in Ada, Oklahoma. Yeah, that's Pontotoc County. Trying to move fast and improve stats, so I listen to GuzCast.
Hey.
Yeah, die daily, I slay tomorrow. Shout out to Matt, that's Ray Romano. Freestyle with the right aim, Christ saves. Shout out to the Ice Age. Yeah, you know I gotta get it. I freestyle with it, so the rhymes I can kick it. Yeah, I do it like this, cause God found me, and Christ worthy. You know He got the bounty. Yeah, freestyle, my rhyme stops, and Holy Spirit, He reveal my blind spots. I do it like a clock, tick tock. I even spit hip hop and flip flops. Wait, I freestyle when the verse runs. That's the second, but I forgot the first one. What's the first word? Really absurd. Freestyle with it, man. It's getting on my nerves. So I bless this. I grew up in Texas, and Christ gonna take me out whenever I exit. I do it big for Jesus. He the main one. Freestyle, man. The rhymes I could change them. Man, you really can't stop me. The flow hot like a pot of black coffee. Hey. But I really gotta do it for God. Plus, you should never drink coffee from Starbucks. Support local. I pray that God touch you. Gotta get some black coffee at Arbuckle. It's okay, freestyle. I don't play. I do it big, man. That's how I let that beat sway. Freestyle is never minimal. I keep going in circles, centripetal. Freestyle, bare minimal. Trinitarian, you could say it's colorful. Wait, hold up, see something in the background? No, for real, there's something. It was a mouse that just laid down. We're gonna have to get that on the bonus footage. Freestyle for the Lord, man, you know He put it in me. That's the gift. Freestyle, send me. Gotta do it like a semi-automatic semi. Because Christ, you know I feel the best. So I dance for the Lord like I'm Killer Steps.
Hey!
Right on the beat drop. There we go.
Heck yeah, dude.
Look over there. Look over there. Look at the mouse. Look at the mouse. You heard it, or you didn't see it, but there is a mouse that just came out from under that desk. That's how you know we're in the hood.
That's
man.
How we do it.
We're from rags to riches, bro. We're at the bottom. I'm actually kind of deathly afraid of mice too.
No, really?
Yeah, that's to be the next episode. I'm kind of freaking out right now, but you're here. I don't want to be a noodle boy.
How'd you maintain composure, bro?
Dude, the Holy Spirit. I didn't know what it was at first. I just saw something, and then I'm like, which it's still under that table.
I see it.
You can see it?
Yeah. Well, it just peaked. I'm sorry.
I think I just saw it too.
I'm sorry. Are you gonna come back?
Dude, just.
I mean,
I definitely will come back.
GuzCast mouse.
Okay, he's the mascot.
He's the mascot.
We got to get him some. We got to make merch out of that for the Patreon. For real.
Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on. That was sick.
Thank you, man. I don't remember what I said, but
you know, everybody that said
that's the tiniest. Look at that little demonic mouse.
You chucked the cup at it.
He deserves it. But he's trying to see what's in the cup.
Now he's seeing what it is.
All right, are we still filming?
We're still filming.
Okay. I'm not taking my eyes off that direction.
Okay, let me do the outro real quick. I appreciate you, dude. You showed up. Well. You showed out. We'll have to have you on next time at some point to talk about all the other stuff that we could have went on rabbit trails. But
mouse trails.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is Dillon Chase. I'm Tim Guzman. Please like, comment, subscribe, follow everything. We're on pretty much every platform now, YouTube, everywhere. So we appreciate all the support. We're on Patreon. Go over there, and all the Twitter, Facebook, everything else. But I appreciate you, Dillon. Appreciate you very much for coming on. And you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Peace out.